Hello everybody, please subscribe to my channel and click that like button for me. Appreciate it. I'm trying to give you much information I can about if you want to freeze your credit bureau reports or dispute items on your credit. You need to do the following. Put a security freeze on all these companies out there, not just the three major credit bureaus, but there's more than that out there. There's small companies that are owned by the big credit bureaus. Even though if you have all the three major credit bureau reports frozen, there's about a dozen more out there, I believe, you would have to put a security freeze on. I'll leave a list in a pop-up. You'll see it here shortly. It's got the list. There's some of them you have to mail it in, go online, print out a form, and you have to put a copy of your utility bill and your ID, and the address has got to match the ID and the utility bill. It's like a verification of your address. Address has to match your ID, otherwise they won't do security freeze. Some you can do over the phone, some you can do online. Then there's some you have to mail it in, print out a form online. There'll be a list, a pop-up list here, you'll see, and it's got a little check marks on there. It'll say right below it, mail, phone, or you can do it online. So just check the next. There's a couple of them next to the name will say mail. Where you have to go online, type in that name, print out a form, and mail it in with your copy of your ID and a proof of address. It's got to match. It's got to match. The address has got to match your utility bill, cable bill, phone bill, electric bill, whatever. It's got to match your ID, or else they won't do security freeze. I would do extended freeze on them, extended fraud alert, and opt out of them selling your information. That's how they make money. They sell your information without your permission, and they make a profit on it. So you opt out. You ever get that stuff in the mail? Well, if your mail gets misdelivered and John Doe's got your credit card offer, all you got to do is sign that paper and mail it in. You'll get a credit card in your name. That's why I say opt out, because this identity theft nowadays is insane. You know what I mean? Equifax had a massive data breach in 2017. I think it was like 150 million people, 158 million people's information was compromised. I mean, they got everything. Your social, your address, name, date of birth, driver's license number. They got it all. They got all the stuff they need to crack the crud out of you, to hack the crud out of you. They got it all. And Equifax can care less. I mean, they're offering... There was $125 in the class action lawsuit, and then it was $3. Now it's $6.80, I believe, but you won't get it. You'll get that money in a few years, because Equifax is fighting it, saying that nobody was impacted by that data breach. That's a big lie, because a month or so after that data breach, my information was on the dark web. I'm thinking pretty much everybody's information is on the dark web after that. Where John Doe can buy your entire identity information on the dark web for like $3. They can buy your name, address, social, date of birth, everything, address, driver's license number, the whole 9 yards on the dark web for $3. It's on there. Somebody told me everybody's information is on the dark web, so that tells you right there you need to freeze that whole list that's popping up on your screen. You need to freeze all them companies, all of them. The big ones, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, and Novus, which is another big company that mortgage companies use, that they bleed off Equifax, called Innovus. It's on that list with them other ones. All them companies check systems so they don't open a checking account in your name. They got your information. They can write a bunch of bad checks in your name. Next thing you know, you have the police knock on the door, you get pulled over and say, hey, you got a warrant for arrest for bad checks. You got felony warrants for bad checks. That could happen too. Get on the IRS website, print out a form, and mail it in, identity theft, and the IRS will send you a form for a PIN number. So when you do your taxes, you got to put that PIN number on your tax return, or else they won't file it. That way, if John Doe got your information, would file false tax return in your name, they won't. The IRS won't process that return without that PIN number. So you have to get on the IRS's website, print that form out, mail it in, and then they'll set that PIN number up. And you got to put that PIN. They'll mail you a PIN number. All these companies like on the list here we'll send you a PIN number in the mail. Keep it, because you need that to unfreeze them. So, and if you unfreeze them, it's free now. Well, back when it happened, it was $10. All them $10 add up, but they're going to give you $6.80. Equifax is. So, yeah, keep all the mail they send you. Freeze all them companies on that list. You see that list popping up on here? Mail. It tells you right there. The ones by the name says mail, check system. Don't worry about the last one. That's called early warning. Yeah, early warning. They do, it's like check systems, but they don't do security freezes, which is bad, because if they get hold of that info, they have a data breach. It shows your account number, routing number, and your balance on that report. It shows your balances. So John Doe, if they have a data breach, John Doe can get your information and print out fake checks, and they know your balance. They know your balance in your accounts. They can actually write a check, or you know how it is nowadays. Now, ain't nothing safe anymore, because everything that you do, they ask for your social security number. You know how that starts? When you're a teenager, the credit bureaus don't have your information when you're young. When you open a bank account up at a checking account, you give them your information. They go through a third party, like check systems. They get your information. They enter the information on their database. Guess what? They create a file on you when you're 18 years old. Now they sell your information to other data brokers and sell it, make money. Then they turn around, the person they sold it to, they sell it. We got a new file here. We got a young boy here, 18 years old, got his social, name, date of birth, address, driver's license number. So your information gets tossed around. That's why you want to opt out from them selling your information. Opt out. You want to opt out for them selling your information. Extended fraud alert. Okay, you can put a statement on your credit bureau with your phone number on there saying, contact me if anyone tries to get any credit in my name. That way they'll see that on there, a statement, they'll call you on your phone. Make sure you put the phone number right, because them credit bureaus got one digit off on mine. I keep on giving it to them, they keep on getting the phone numbers wrong on it. So they can't call me if they got the wrong phone number. You know what I mean? This tells you how inaccurate them credit reports are. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. You know what I mean? Here's a clip of Dave Ramsey. If you don't believe me, the Equifax data breach happened. Here's Dave Ramsey talking about it. I'll let you listen to it, okay? He gets into it. He put this on like 3 years ago. Yeah, because, September of 2017, I believe, they announced that big, massive data breach. 150 million, I think, or something like that. Basically, 1 out of 10 people, your information's on the dark web. And the Equifax lawyer is saying nothing happened. People's information was not affected or compromised. It was. Trust me. I got hackers call me the other day, yesterday, claiming to be Social Security, and they got partial my information, but they don't have it all, and they try to get you to give them their social, your date of birth. When they called me, they knew my name, my age, and an old address from like 3 decades ago, and they're trying to complete the identity process. They're claiming to be Social Security Administration, and they're probably overseas somewhere, spoofing a number in the phone or the computer, coming up California. And you can hear people in the background talk. I made a video about it. You can see it in my one of my videos talking about the scammer claiming to be Social Security Administration. You can hear it. You can hear them. I got them on speaker. You can hear them loud and clear. They're claiming to be Social Security Administration. I called them again today, and they answered. Social Security is not even open up on the weekends, and they don't answer it right away. Social Security Administration. So yeah, there's a lot of scammers out there. You know what I mean? People fall for it. You know what I mean? But listen, ready? Listen.
Equifax released some information that the worst data breach in the history of data breaches occurred. It's not the largest, but it's the worst.
You hear that? The worst data breach in the history of data breaches. He'll go on to say it wasn't the largest, but it was the worst. And he'll tell you the reason why. They got everything they need to hack the crud out of you. A lot of people think, well, this will never happen to me. Get them security freezes on all them companies I told you about, because down the road, when your information's on the dark web, it never goes away. 30 years from now, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years from now, it's still there. It could happen down the road. It might not happen now or next year or the year after, but it could happen 5 years from now, 10 years. Then it becomes your problem. Yeah, because and it's a big mess. You know what I mean? It's a big mess when that happens. It's like a nightmare. Okay? Listen.
And here's what has happened, if you didn't know. Equifax got hacked over the summer. They released that information today. 143 million people's credit bureau reports were invaded and hacked. And the reason it's the worst is Yahoo had a bigger one. I had more people, but it wasn't as thorough. These people got your social security number, your date of birth, your name, your address. They got all the stuff they need to hack the crud out of you. And where the other thing they got, Yahoo was like they got an email address or something, okay? But they got everything from Equifax. They cleaned Equifax's plow. And it's bad. It is, I'm not a hyper guy, I'm not a melodramatic guy, but this is bad. And this is the third time recently that Equifax has been hammered. And they're doing all the correct PR things. And, Rick White, their CEO, there's a wonderful email, man. If you haven't seen it, you should go look at it on their website. Those of you, Rick Smith, I'm sorry, is the guy's name, the CEO and chairman of Equifax. It is a study in how to handle the public relations aspect of a disaster like this. The guy is stellar. He does everything he's supposed to do in this situation. Doesn't fix the fact that because of them, a bunch of you are screwed. And this is the third time recently. So even though they did a great job with the PR handling of it, let me give you another piece of information. There's several class action lawsuits are already popping up on this. And Equifax, of course, is offering free monitoring and free credit repair. Brought to you by the people who got hacked. So, it's a nice offer, but that's kind of stupid, all right? And here's the worst part of it. If you sign up for the free monitoring, you, in the fine print, will waive your right to sue them. A little underhanded to stick that in the fine print that you can't participate in the class action lawsuit because they're the ones that screwed you. They didn't do it intentionally, but this is the largest... this is the largest database of all of our stuff that they took from us without our permission. I didn't turn over anything to Equifax. They scarfed it and built a file on me. They did on you, too. They collect data on you. That's how they create your credit score. You didn't send them any of that. It isn't a voluntary process. And it's certainly not a government agency. And so, those of you that worship at the FICO score, here's the price you pay. Oh, and by the way, a bunch of people are tweeting going, well, Dave Ramsey listeners, people who don't borrow money and don't have a credit score, I'm really glad I don't have a credit score. It's no big deal. They're not going to get hit. Yeah, they are. My wife's got hit. She was one of them. And that's an account that has a 0 credit score and has been frozen for probably a decade. So even if your credit was frozen and even if you have no credit score, they still got all your stuff. My personal assistant's got hit. So there's the deal. Now, that's all the bad news. Bad news is Equifax sucks. Wow, that's not really news. Okay. And they're going to screw you again if you sign up for their free monitoring because you're not going to you're not going to be able to be included in any class action lawsuits, which I'm not going to do personally anyway, but I just think that's slimy.
There you go. You listen to that? That was crazy. See? So I would definitely get all them companies frozen, not just the major 3. Okay? And I had another one on here.
Locating network vulnerabilities that hackers can exploit to gain access to sensitive information is a key issue. Actually, Senator Hassan and I have worked on this with some specific legislation.
There you go.
Here this morning. Earlier this year, the President signed our Hack DHS Act as an example into law, which will strengthen DHS's cybersecurity by using white hat hackers to locate previously unknown vulnerabilities in the department's systems.
Security flaw. Equifax has still not properly responded to its 2015 audit findings or brought its cybersecurity practices in line with industry standards. Despite
Here you
I'd
go.
like to start with
Listen.
Mr. Bigora, and my question for you is whether you would be willing to share today your social security, your birth date, and your address at this public hearing.
I would be a bit uncomfortable doing that, Congresswoman. If you'd so oblige me, I'd prefer not to.
Okay, can I ask you why you're unwilling?
Well, that's sensitive information. I think it's sensitive information that I like to protect, and I think consumers should protect theirs.
If we gave that if that sensitive information were provided at this public hearing, what are you concerned about could happen?
I think, like every American Congresswoman, my apologies, Congresswoman, I'd be concerned about identity theft. I'm actually a victim of identity theft. It happened 3 times in the last 10 years to me, twice with my tax returns, and once, as a consumer of someone opening up fraudulent credit accounts in my name. Somehow they got my social security number, my date of birth, and my address, and then changed the address and opened up the account. So I think, like all Americans, we're concerned about that. Okay,
so my question then is, if you agree that exposing this kind of information like that you have in your credit reports, creates harm, therefore you're unwilling to share it, why are your lawyers arguing in federal court that there was no injury and no harm created by your data breach?
Congresswoman, it's really hard for me to comment on what our lawyers are doing.
Respectfully, excuse me, but you do employ those lawyers. And they do operate at your direction. They're your counsel, and they are making these arguments in court, arguing on the record. I have the pleadings here from the court case. They are arguing on the record that that this case should be dismissed because there is no injury and no harm created by the disclosure of people's personal credit information. Yet I understand you, as I would, to believe that the exposure of that information, I asked you if you would give it to the committee, and you understandably said no, would in fact create a harm. So I guess I would ask you to please look carefully at what your lawyers are doing and the arguments that they are making, because I feel they're inconsistent with some of the helpful testimony that you've provided today.
There you go. That was a year ago, hearing with Equifax, the new CEO. The first thing she said was like, could you give us your address, your social, date of birth, and everything? He said no. Social security number and all that. He said no. The lawyers are trying to fight the lawsuit, saying nothing ever happened to people's information. They stole all that information for the hell of it. See, Equifax is a bunch of clowns. I'm glad I don't do bit. If I go to a company they use Equifax, I take my business somewhere else. They mention Equifax, I go somewhere else. And I'm telling all these banks, a lot of banks around here, they switched from Equifax. They had Equifax after that data breach. They lost customers. They went to TransUnion or Experian. Equifax lost a lot of business from this data breach. And they don't care, because all you are is a profit to them. They don't care about you. You're a profit. You know what I mean? They don't care about nothing. All they care about that money. You know what I mean? You're nothing to them. You're a nobody. But you guys have a wonderful weekend. It's getting dark out. And I put a list. You'll see the list pop up on here. You need to put a security freeze on all them companies. Remember, you'll see right next to the name will say mail. Go online, print it out, send a copy, utility bill, cable bill, phone bill, whatever, and your copy of your ID. And it's got to match. The address has got to match, or else they won't put a security freeze. And they'll send you a PIN number in the mail. Keep all mail they send you. Okay? The mail's kind of messed up, so it might take you a few weeks or a month to get the mail. I don't know, but keep all the mail they send you. And when you do a security freeze, when you need to unfreeze it, tell them I just need it unfrozen for 24 hours. That way it'll refreeze. The minimum's 24 hours. You can't say, well, they're going to pull my credit, and then can you freeze it back right away? It's 24 hours. You make sure you tell them over the phone. 24-hour freeze. Unfreeze it for 24 hours. And the next day, will be the freeze be put back on there, because your information, you don't leave your information open. Basically, it's like you going on vacation leaving all your doors and windows open. That's like it is if you don't freeze your reports. You got to freeze all of them, not just the major 3. The list, you'll see the list pop up here. It's going to be on there all the time. Just, you need to freeze all them companies, okay? If you got any comments, put it below, hit like and subscribe for further updates, okay? Thank you.